And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blanken. Tyler, what a week of pro wrestling, my friend. How are you?
Brad, I couldn't agree with you anymore, man. I am doing well today. It is officially cutoff shirt season. It is so hot in Arizona right now. The mornings are beautiful, and then about 10, 11 a.m., it's too hot already. So punishing is the perfect description. Aside from the scorching desert heat, which we all know is on its way, I am doing so well. It was a great week personally. It was a great week watching wrestling, and I'm so excited to chop it up with you. How are you?
I'm great. We were in the backyard today. I got up not early, definitely not early enough, but I got out there around 8 o'clock, and it was beautiful weather. The sun was just starting to get into my face, and it got hot pretty fast, but it was still that it's so windy in Arizona in the spring. I don't think that can be understated. It just gets so windy, and that wind really helped kind of cool it off. For those of you that don't live in Arizona and have never experienced the heat in Arizona, it's strange heat. If you are from the East Coast, I know we have East Coast members of 19 Media that listen to this. If you are from the Midwest, if you are in anywhere that is humid at any point of the year, like you hit that 75, 80 degree mark, you're kind of miserable. You got the window fans going. Maybe you even have the AC window unit running or something because it gets hot. Here it's like 80 degrees it's not even hot. It's not even a little hot. It's like it's chilly if it's 75, as long as there's no sun. And when it's 110, you can feel it. If it's 105, you can feel it, especially in the sun, but you won't see sweat. It is the weirdest thing. You don't see it. You feel it later. Like, I'm going to go home. I'm going to change. I've been wearing these pants and I have this belt on. You take that belt off and it's like this ring of sweat that exists there because it's like walking
the ring of sweat.
It's just like walking through a food dehydrator. It's got hot wind, hot air. It's super dry and your sweat just evaporates before it can keep producing. But I experienced that a little bit today, but we were in the shade, so I was sweating bullets. And then when I came in, no pun intended with the Bullet Club tee. I walked in from outside and immediately felt how much I was sweating because it was still hot. And now we're on the second cup of water in about an hour and no sign of having to go to the bathroom inside here.
I just got some before we started recording, man. And I always tell people, I'd rather be hot than cold because I don't enjoy being cold. But man, I don't know. I may need to reevaluate my answer to that question. It's starting to get up there. But regardless, man, blessings on blessings.
Yes.
It was a good week.
Great week.
And a great week of wrestling.
Such a good week of wrestling. Professionally, glad to hear everything's going well. I know we've had some great emails together. Big email week for me. Shout
out to Marana High School and the English department over there.
Yes.
If you know, you know.
Probably
a tale for another day. Yeah,
it'll happen eventually.
If you really want to know, hit us up at GIPod19. Well, we're not going to leave you totally in the dark, but for now, perhaps we will.
Speaking of Dark, I got to watch Dark this week, and
how was it?
Fine. I have no other words. There's some weird stuff on there, man. Like, there's, I don't even know how to describe it. Just sometimes you see stuff. There's that wrestler with the opera gimmick that's on there. I can't remember her name. Pops me every time, but I know she's about to get
watched in several weeks. I was on a good run.
When she gets her opponent in the corner. And then goes to the other corner and just starts singing while she runs across the stage or across the ring, and it's so stupid. Like, you can't not laugh. I would absolutely break character if I were in ring going, "The hell are you doing?" Like, just stop doing that. It's really something. So I really enjoy it because commentary is so free and they're having such a good time on it. And if they think something's dumb, they'll just be like, "What is that? That's stupid." And it's just so much. It's so much more fun and unpredictable, even for a taped show, that for me, it's almost can't miss. as long as I have downtime, as long as I'm doing something else. I was doing something else while that happened. It was, it ended up being one of my workouts this week. So, absolutely great. But
yeah,
Tyler, we were blessed this week. Blessed. AEW gave us gifts on gifts. And that Boston crowd, man, they were here for it. They were absolutely up. Yeah. That was an incredible crowd.
Awesome crowd.
And if they were anything less than what they were, I would have been pissed at Boston, because boy, oh boy, did they get their money's worth.
Oh, that they did, Brad. Man, I want to say one thing before we fully get into it. I also want to give a shout out to the Pro Wrestling Studies Association. You can find them on Twitter at the PWSA. They had their virtual Wrestle Symposium 3 this past weekend. They invited me, little old me, to be on the panel with a really esteemed duo of gentlemen. So once they release that video, we'll definitely make sure we retweet that and just want to put over the PWSA. They were so hospitable virtually, and man, it was just a great conversation, Brad. I wish you could have been there. I know you had some other responsibilities, but I'm just so excited to share that panel that I was on with our listeners. Again, at GIPod19. Once the good folks at PWSA post it, we will retweet it and send it out. But man, I just want to give a shout out to them, because that was an absolute blast. And knowing you like I do, I think two of your passions are wrestling and academia.
Yes, absolutely.
And I am brand new to PWSA, but my understanding is PWSA brings together people whose passions are exactly those two topics. So I'm hopeful that we can have some sort of partnership with them moving forward.
Absolutely. I'm sad I wasn't able to get there, but shout out to the 12 people that came, to 12 students that showed up for a Saturday study session for no other reason, well, maybe one other reason, than to prepare for their test and maybe opt out of their final if they come to enough study sessions.
Hey,
but
that's a perk.
Doing it on a Saturday at 8 a.m. when they don't have to be there was it's really something. They have to give up their time, so I'm proud of them for doing it. Even though I would have rather have been a part of the panel, I would have loved to at least watch it, even if I wasn't participating. Man, so I kept telling you throughout the day how jealous I was of you. I have a passion for learning anything. I don't care what it is. I just want to know as much as humanly possible, and it's one of my strengths. This is something I talk to people about all the time. My gift is I have this enormous wealth of knowledge that is totally useless in almost every situation. I just know a lot of stuff, and it's just not that helpful, but seems to help with a podcast. So let's get into it, Tyler. Let's do this. I'm excited.
That it does. Yeah, Brad, thanks for letting me throw that out there. We need to get into it. I have my first question for you.
Pumped.
And here we go. I want to know, what was your match of the week in AEW? And I'm only giving you two choices here.
I know which two.
Both the main events from the two main AEW shows this week. Was your match of the week
Willow Nightingale,
FTR?
Red Velvet?
We must talk about Willow at some
we'll
point.
We'll get there.
If you want to speak about her in this,
No.
I totally support that.
No, but I know what you're doing.
She is a star. We need to talk about her soon.
I do feel like that might have been the most talked about episode from...
How amazing was she? And
Yeah,
we love Red Velvet too.
Yes.
But I think Willow she just stood out.
Bro,
in
she
the best way possible.
She was the star. They booed Red Velvet, a babyface, simply because Willow didn't win. And
Heel
it's not
turning
because...
coming, I think.
Well, she's better as a heel anyway, but I don't... Because she knew right away. She embraced it right away. She read the audience right away and played off it. And then she got on social media and played off of it. So I was pumped. But Red Velvet just gets it. But Willow being so insanely over on this match, turning the crowd against the babyface.
Yes.
Anyway, we can talk about that.
I texted you this. The pound... We just got to go into it now.
Yeah, okay.
The pounce...
man,
I think it was
Cannonball.
the pounce, and then she was hitting the mat, and then I think it was a spine buster.
Yeah.
Dude, incredible.
Yeah.
And like you said, the crowd was totally behind her. She has to be signed in the next week or two, no? If she's not already.
I can't imagine her not. I'm still absolutely shocked that Athena is not in the company. I'm actually kind of upset about it, and to hear that there haven't been conversations even, and maybe that's a lie, maybe that's a work, maybe that's
I think it's a work.
and maybe we're getting Athena at the next pay-per-view, but all these people saying there's too many AEW or WWE talents, just get wrecked. I'm sick of that stuff. Like Punk's there and Danielson's there and all these they didn't start there. Just stop. Like Adam Cole didn't start there. So just give it a rest already. Did their name get bigger there? Sure, but that doesn't make them WWE only property.
Right.
WWE it's the top. It's the peak, the end. It's the biggest company. It's the biggest spotlight. It's the brightest spotlight if they use you. But it's just sort of it's how it is. But I hate when they're like, these WWE guys. Who cares? Now they're not.
Yeah.
I don't care if they were in the WWE.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't have anything to add there.
So
I
weird.
completely have your back on it. It is weird. Yeah, the internet, which I think houses a lot of these opinions, can be a strange, mysterious place. I don't agree with that method of thinking either.
What if
I'm so happy? Yeah,
I was going to ask you if they brought in all the Mox is there. Did anybody go, they're bringing these ex New Japan guys?
Right.
Did anybody say that? Because it wasn't John Moxley in the WWE.
Yeah.
So it's like, what about all the New Japan guys? Jericho. Ugh, New Japan. Actually, I don't even know if he was New Japan. I can't remember if he was New Japan or All Japan when he was coming up. But it's just, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Do we say that about Brock when he went back to the WWE? Oh, great, a Japanese wrestler.
Right.
Like, because he worked over there for a while, he's an IWGP champ in New Japan. Or are we going to call him a New Japan wrestler? No, it's just such a weird reaction to stuff. I don't care. You go to the WWE, you might not get used the way that you could probably be used, but you're getting money, lots and lots of it. You're getting a bigger spotlight. People pay attention to that product way more than the other products. I don't want to say AEW is for the hardcores. I think it's AEW is for people that like pro wrestling, but also came up with WWF and WCW in that era. That will recognize the product, or maybe ECW will recognize the product a little bit more, especially when Dan Lambert's out there.
Yes to everything you said.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to monopolize the time.
No. You nailed it. I just want to say, A, you're right. B, I'm so happy we started this conversation with Willow Nightingale, because I love that performance that she had, even in a losing effort. And C, I will get back to my original question. What was your match of the week, my friend? Young Bucks versus FTR, the main event of Dynamite, or Wheeler Yuta versus Jon Moxley, the main event of Rampage?
So, I'm going to go FTR here, but
I thought there was a chance you were going Yuta.
Hold on.
Okay.
I want to go FTR. They're my guys. I'm gonna give it to Yuta for a variety of reasons. FTR Bucks, that story writes itself. It also had to. There was no build. So we got that match sort of out of the blue. I don't know that FTR attacking the Briscoes is a build, or the Bucks attacking the Briscoes after their match with FTR is a build for FTR Bucks. I don't really know if that's what it is.
But that Dax hot tag. That Dax molten hot tag.
The Brain Buster, the big rig, the other big rig.
Yes.
We got. God, it was so good. That match was damn near perfect.
The BTE trigger from FTR,
yes.
Something I thought I'd never see.
No.
Didn't we just talk on a recent
yes.
episode about someone using the
yes.
challenger's finishing move?
Yeah, it was when we were talking.
So I love that.
When we were talking Rock Stone Cold, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. I popped huge for all of those spots. It was great. That match was incredible. I want to see it again. Put in the Briscoes, who are now working at Impact, but I don't know if they have a contract. So I'm kind of hoping they're not signed so that they can float, because I would love to see them do a three-way tag match between FTR, the Bucks, and the Briscoes for
Great
a title shot.
Great tweet this week.
Can you imagine? I mean, put that on the main event
money.
of a pay-per-view.
That's a pay-per-view match.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So that one's money. That I would pay money just to see that match alone. So, or to see Swerve versus Athena. $10.99.
By TV.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna check that out. It's cheap enough where I want to see it. Yeah, I think Yuta versus Mox has been building, not for Mox, but just between the Blackpool Combat Club, the BCC. Yuta leaving the best friends. He fought Danielson in an incredible match. He won the Pure title. And I think I have to go back and watch, but I believe Regal said you need to earn it. Not yet. He said you need to earn it first. And I think he said something about getting gold or something like that. I thought he alluded to like becoming more than he is. He won the title and then he fought Mox after losing to Danielson. So there was that space in between where he went out and won that title, and I think he proved it to Regal. And then he fought Mox. They did the spot for Mania, the Bret Hart Stone Cold spot. I caught that right away. I don't know if you thought that right away.
I did not actually know. I saw it online after.
I did right away. I was like, oh my God, they're doing the Crimson Mask spot. This is amazing. And his was much more crimson than Stone Cold's. Wheeler,
it was gnarly.
Wheeler was squirting blood out of his forehead. Somebody caught a still shot of that. It is foul, but it is it's pretty great. He must have been at max blood pressure for that thing to jet out about a foot. He looking up, he was even doing the thing with Stone Cold, rubbing his hands on his face. No, it's too much. That dude kicked out of 2 paradigm shifts.
Yes,
the first one, they called it paradigm shift. I don't know that Moxley delivering a regular old DDT is a paradigm shift. If he's not doing the underhook, that's not a paradigm.
Elevation,
You gotta, when he raises him up, that's a paradigm shift. I'm sick of them going like paradigm shift. It's like he gave him a rock DDT. He gave him a DDT. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah. But he kicked out, man.
He gave him a DDT.
Yuta kicked out.
Huge DDT and then a paradigm shift, an elevated one right into the bulldog, and then he didn't even give him a bulldog. It was a rear naked choke after the last one, right?
I believe so.
I think he just choked him out because he got out of the bulldog too, and it's
he did.
Totally incredible. The match had a story. The crowd ended up being firmly behind Yuta, even though they love Mox.
Yeah. Yes.
It was wrestling perfection. It is what you want in pro wrestling, to build a character, to build a star. Yuta, in the span of a month, went from guy who's with the best friends to one of the top 5 to 10 guys in the company.
Yeah, and a baby face. They built a baby face, which we don't.
Baby face, absolutely, yes. Bro. We
don't see that
because of all of those things. Even though I think the match between the Bucks and FTR was probably the best wrestling match of the week, the best match in terms of wrestling and storytelling and execution, it has to be Yuta and Mox. It's the best thing there was this week, far and wide. Nothing comes close. The best wrestling match of the week was FTR Bucks. The best match, because of the storytelling, because of the work, was absolutely Yuta and Mox, because now we have a brand new huge over babyface.
Yeah. And then in his own blood, he writes BCC on his chest.
And
you
Mox,
can't script that any better, right?
No, and Mox saying that. Mox saying, now the real work begins. Absolutely amazing. And I have a follow-up on that later.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay.
Well, I agree with you, my friend. I love the pick. I love your rationale. And man, Yuta, just like you said, seemingly overnight, but in the span of a month, has just become a major player in the company. When the guy, I don't want to say he was an afterthought because that sounds way too disrespectful, but he was just a guy who was around, who we know has a lot of talent, but he's already a made man. I can't wait to see what's in store for him.
Yeah, I can't wait. Okay. Question 1. Tony Khan is once again in his Twitter feelings.
We're getting to this early.
Yes, we are.
Let's go.
Bot City.
That's right.
Okay. Do you think this is the action of a paranoid man obsessed with an impossible expectation to beat WWE that may be driven by a need to gain his father's approval? Or do you think these bots are real? Also, Becky Lynch rules.
Your setups for these questions are just as good as the question. Sometimes even better, one may argue. Man, that's really funny and an important question. Becky does rule. Great tweet by her. It's clearly got to be the former and not the latter in this case. It's become evident, I would say, over the last year that TK, Tony Khan, is... I don't know, man. You use any adjectives here. He really is obsessed with, I think, getting the credit he believes he deserves. He seems pretty, I don't know if sensitive is the right word, but really I'll use sensitive to any criticism of the product. And it does kind of feel like a contrast in that Vince McMahon seems so hands-off and one may argue out of touch that we obviously don't see these tweets from him. I would even be surprised if he's running his own Twitter. He can just have somebody do that for him, probably. But Toni, I mean, he's kind of like the Kevin Durant of professional wrestling. Like, he's checking his mentions and who replies to his tweets. He does seem obsessed with the competition and with getting the credit that he believes he and his performers deserve. So I'm all for one being proud of their product. At this point, man, it just gives us more content for GI. So I'm here for it. If he wants to continue with these sort of pseudo conspiracy theories about Twitter bots, I say keep tweeting it, Toni, because it gives us more to discuss here. How about you? What do you think? Is he obsessed with getting the credit he so rightfully deserves and ultimately beating WWE in the ratings one day?
Well, he already is beating them in the demo, but it's
he is.
He's not going to be able to do what they do until they go public. Like it's just not going to happen. I think everything hinges upon the success of A, the video game, B,
I get that soon.
Yeah, it's going to probably be another year. The video game and the ROH streaming, whatever comes of that, as a platform, I think. Because right now the numbers are staying consistent. I think I feel like I have to tune in. I don't want to miss out. I don't want to be behind. I don't even want to wait until it airs live here. I want to get it now. I stream early.
Yeah, you really do. You're always on top of it.
Yeah, I have to. So yeah, because of all of that, I have a really hard time thinking that it's a fair fight. But you know when it started, right?
No, do tell.
Okay. 18 to 49 demo. I'm looking at the date. 6 months ago.
Okay.
I don't have an exact date. Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. Brock and Roman contract signing. SmackDown went head-to-head with AEW.
That's right.
They extended it by an hour commercial-free, or half an hour commercial-free. And during that time, AEW won in the demo. But that was when Tony Khan started tweeting about the WWE. Before, he wasn't doing that. He wasn't really commenting. It was a lot of, this isn't competition stuff. And then WWE is the one that threw the first rock. They were the ones that sort of went, no, we're going to go head to head. We're going to beat you late at night. You don't have a chance. And then they lost in the demo. So they lost by a substantial amount in the demo. And I don't remember who it was. I know Bunny was one of the participants, but I can't remember.
Yeah, wasn't it Punk versus Seidel? Didn't that open the show?
Punk versus Seidel and then Bunny and somebody else.
Serenity? No?
Might have been. I don't know.
Seems like that was eons ago.
Bunny Shida or Bunny Riho or something.
Bunny Shida sounds possible.
Well, it was 6 months ago, so it really was eons.
Yeah,
ago.
it's man.
So yeah. I think yes, he's obsessed. I also think it's Florida. He's wealthy. He's
very wealthy.
I don't want to give credence to some of the things people say about him and how he's acting and how he's twitchy. I'm just saying. There might be something there, the way that he acts online sometimes. It's like, you are seeing ghosts, my friend. And also, I don't know that he's wrong. There are a lot of bots out there.
Yeah, there is some validity to the bot argument, right? If we're being honest.
But I don't know that it's a malicious attack by Vince. I just think there are bots. I don't know that it's anything other than that. There's a lot of troll accounts that just exist to be troll accounts.
There are so many troll accounts. Have you ever noticed? I guess this is really for any genre or form of entertainment, but especially with wrestling. If you just look at the comments and replies,
oh my gosh,
it's like the most random. It's not like you and I, where it's just two regular dudes who love this and we have our real names. It's just it's a strange place sometimes.
Yeah, so if I see a comment by like Rob Wilkins or something, I know it was Rob. That's just Rob commenting. Rob rules. If there's a comment by somebody from Fightful or somebody from Wrestling Observer or The Ringer, and then there's just like the random people that I follow. Like I follow Melissa, and Melissa has tweets. I don't know who Melissa is. I don't know what their last name is. Cute kid. That's all I got. And I see them comment. I'm like, oh, cool. But then it's like, I enjoy following Wrestle Cringe. I enjoy that account. I don't know what that is. But then there's all these people that just do the pro AEW, pro WWE stuff. And in all honesty, I do follow a lot of the AEW stuff. It's not pro AEW or pro WWE that gets me. It's the anti AEW or anti WWE. You can be a fan of something, just don't be an anti-fan. That's lame. It's just like, let people like what you like. Otherwise, I gotta block you because I don't want to see it on my feed. But it's
Well, wrestling is so subjective.
Yes.
As just period. You know.
I loved
what you like.
I loved WrestleMania. I loved WrestleMania weekend. It was so much fun. Also, there was shit I hated. It just
yes.
like, how do you?
But I mean, sometimes we get that on AEW shows as well.
Oh my gosh!
How many times have you and I cited the Minneapolis Street Fight at Full Gear, or name the one match or segment that we don't.
I feel like all of the times that I've called something or have been mostly right on something, I feel like that's the one that I feel proudest of, saying this is going to be shit. And
you called it.
Then it absolutely was the worst thing on the card. Absolutely.
1000%.
Yes. It's absolutely disgusting. Minnesota street fight. There wasn't even any snow or anything. It was just hockey sticks and stuff. It's like having a desert Ocotillo match and it not being hot. But nothing is hotter, my friend, than your takes every week. It is time once again for Hot Take Tie.
And now it's time for Hot Take Tie. Spicy.
Brad, I think you'll see a bit of a WWE and AEW integration from me on this episode here, and this is where it's going to begin. For my hot take this week, I am thinking about Mark Henry, former WWE superstar who now works for AEW. He has a great segment every week on Rampage that I think you and I enjoy leading into the main event. It always pops me, even still to this day. So Mark Henry is doing some really cool work in AEW, right? We know he's a former champion, multi-time champion in WWE, very famous power lifter. I mean, his accolades are so numerous. However, Brad, I was thinking this week, my hot take is that Mark Henry's greatest accomplishment in his whole professional career was scouting Bianca Belair. Brad, I rewatched Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch from last weekend's WrestleMania, and I enjoyed it even more the second time. The entrances, the match itself, I believe, if I can quote you, all gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
The most vicious KOD I've ever seen.
So good.
Bianca
so
going
good.
over, which you and I needed for our souls to make up for WrestleMania, to make up for SummerSlam. Just imagine if Mark Henry had not, I'm not saying Bianca wouldn't have made it some other way, but imagine if Mark Henry had not scouted, had not recruited Bianca Belair into the WWE, into wrestling. How deprived we would be of the magic that is Bianca. I think and our listeners know I'm very partial to the boss, the legit boss, Sasha Banks. We love Bayley here. We love, insert the name of a woman who's performing at the highest level, and you and I are probably fanboys for them. I think with Bianca, though, there was just something so special, man.
Yeah.
I think she just has the total package, the charisma mixed with the strength, mixed with the just incredible baby face that she is. I mean, she can press you over her head and then do a 450 a minute later from the second row, Brad. It's incredible. Mark Henry has done so much for wrestling, but by far his greatest gift to us has been giving us Bianca Belair, the EST.
Can't argue with that. Did you see? This is funny. I saw this after Mania. That the best cameo in the Sami Zayn spot in the Sami Zayn Johnny Knoxville match was Mark Henry's son all grown
No.
up. Yeah.
No. He was there, wasn't he?
The giant hand that slapped Sami Zayn, Mark Henry's son.
Get out of here.
His old ass girlfriend gave birth to a hand in the 90s, Tyler.
Yes, I was going to say this is
somebody
your work.
Called it Mark Henry's son. His hand is how do you okay.
I remember the segment now, Brad.
It's hard not to. It's burned into my brain.
No, yeah, yes. I'm going to give you credit on that one. That you made me think of that segment. I haven't thought about that.
It's
purposefully
disturbing.
In about 15 to 20 years.
For those of you who have no idea, in the late 90s, early 2000s, Mark Henry and I think it was Mae Young, right?
Was it? I was going to say Mae Young.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Mae Young conceived a child, but she was in her 80s at the point, and the thing she gave birth to was a hand. Just a hand. It was just a hand. And when Mark asked Vince why, he never got an answer. It was just, it's just that. And that's all it was. That was the explanation. And then it just, nothing ever was made of it. Its storyline just sort of ended there with the sexual chocolate stuff. And somebody was like, hey, that's got to be Mark Henry's hand that slapped Sami Zayn across the face, Mark Henry's son. And I laughed.
And they said that on commentary, or you saw that online?
I don't know. I think it was online afterward, but I was I'm really hoping that in my head,
makes more sense.
I'm really in my head, I'm hoping that Pat McAfee said it. But I doubt
he was on fire that match.
Pat was born to do that job, man. Like Pat McAfee alone makes me, Pat with Michael Cole makes me want to watch SmackDown by itself. I did not, but it makes me want to. I want to hear what Pat has to say, because there's always a moment. I caught the Gunther debut stuff, and I love that Pat over the top of the crowd chanting Walter. We're like, Gunther chants have broken out here in the arena. I thought that was hilarious. Where it's very obvious Walter chants happening, but anyway, I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Man, great take, man. All right, I'm ready. Hit me with question 2.
Yeah, let's do it. So we saw Sting on this week's programming, and we're also on AEW, of course, and we're also coming off the epic Undertaker Hall of Fame speech from last weekend that you can still find on Twitter, on wrestling Twitter. So it got me to thinking, Brad, a question that I definitely have never asked you on air, and I don't think I've asked you off air. Is Sting versus The Undertaker the greatest match that we never got to see?
Yes, only because they're both really good workers, but I can tell you that's not the match that we all wanted. Everybody wanted Stone Cold versus Goldberg. Every person in America wanted Stone Cold versus Goldberg. The two bald guys with goatees, the two biggest, most dominant wrestlers in the company, even though Stone Cold was not the biggest. They were the most dominant wrestlers in their respective companies. We all wanted to see that. We wanted to see what would happen if Goldberg goes for the spear and Stone Cold just moves out of the way and stuns his ass. Is one stunner going to do it? Is 2, is 3, is 4, is 5? I don't know. Stone Cold into a jackhammer. Does he kick out? So I think that was probably the biggest match at the time. However, absolutely Sting versus Undertaker, no brainer. The two sort of darker characters. I'm shocked we didn't get that. It's also...
And we could have, right? They were in the company. This was what, pseudo 2015, 2016?
Yeah, but it was Triple H instead. It was Triple H.
It was the Triple H match, which he won.
I don't hate that it was Triple H, but it could have been Taker. That bums me out, man.
Even a cinematic.
Yeah.
On the PWSA panel, we were discussing cinematic matches and what place they have and if we like them. And when done right, I'm a huge fan. If you would have given us a Sting versus Undertaker cinematic when Sting had that WWE
oh my gosh,
run,
yes.
I mean, just imagine the traction it would have gotten. Just from a like you often bring up, Brad, from a dollars perspective, because we know Vince and company love green, as does Tony Khan. The dollars that match would have brought in, even if cinematic. I think it's a shame we're never going to get it, considering somehow Sting is on our TV nearly every week now,
doing suicide dives.
Often, yeah, I was gonna say often either competing and giving us suicide dives or just beating dudes with his bat.
Yeah,
like it's just it could have happened.
He still looks great. I don't understand how it gets.
He does.
Like, yeah, is he fast? No, he's not as fast as he was, not nearly. but he still looks really good. He doesn't move like he's broken. He doesn't. It's just crazy to me that he's able to do this at this age.
And his strikes. I love his strikes. I'll always pop for them. Like the backhand hit and then the stinger splash. And
his uppercuts always look great.
Yes, it's such a treat that we get to watch
in the company. He and Dustin Rhodes have the best uppercuts. I love watch Dustin Rhodes. You know I'm a fan.
Yes, you are.
Those uppercuts, the drop to the back to punch you in the face, the
guaranteed pop every time.
The insanely fast, best in the business, best in history power slams.
Yes. Canadian Destroyer.
Shattered Dreams always gets me. The Canadian Destroyer this year, I couldn't believe that happened.
Who would have thought?
I love that he retweeted Punk's challenge with, "Give us 20 minutes and we put on a 5-star match, you and I." I believe him. Dude, I believe him. Yeah. I would love to see that. I would love to see Punk and Dustin have a match. I don't know. Dustin would have to take the L there, but I would love to see it. I think it would be a fun match. It doesn't need to have a story. I think it'd just be a good match to have a match and maybe set something up with other people, but like let those two fight it out. I would love to see that before Punk's run is over and before Dustin hangs it up. Yeah, I hope so. Cause my goodness. Great question, man.
Let's go. Yeah, man. I thought about this maybe on like Wednesday or Thursday, and I just put it in my notes, and I was just sitting on it. I'm like, I can't text this to him or put it in a group chat. I gotta wait till we record GI.
I can't really think of anything else. I'm really.
It has to be Sting versus Taker.
Yeah, I'm really trying.
Unless our listeners think different, and we'll tweet at us.
I'm trying to think older. Like what was older than that? Because we got almost everything else, even though it was all broken. Like we got LOD versus New Age Outlaws, but it was like old broken LOD. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I can't. That's got to be it. It has to be it. Yeah. I don't think there's another answer.
Well, kudos to you for giving the Stone Cold versus Goldberg, because I think those are the two dream matchups for all 90s wrestling fans.
Yes.
It has to be, right? Yeah. Those four talents were so over at that time and so embodied the spirit of both companies that just fantasy match, fantasy book city over here, man. Just imagine if we got Vince and Eric Bischoff or Ted Turner just joining forces for one pay-per-view, if we could have gotten those two matches, co-main event, take my money.
Yes, absolutely. Unbelievable. Speaking of money, making money, it's time to find out what's happening in 19 Media Group. It's time for the State of the Biz.
And now it's time for the State of the Biz.
The wonderful duo of Jess, my lovely wife, and Carmen at Small Town USA dropped a recent episode. The town that ate Kevin Bacon. This season, they'll be focusing on the juiciest true crime stories. Tune in. It rules.
I agree. You can also check out Warren Shaw's interview with Rob Villanueva on the latest episode of Dope Interviews.
Pretty sure I work with Rob. Speaking of Warren, the guys at the Baseline dropped a special Baseline progress report assessing their young sons. And Hoops redemption picks from the start of the NBA season have panned out.
JP and James, the fellows over at Dunk Tales, released an exclusive interview with former NBA player turned analyst Antonio Daniels. Give it a listen.
I really like how this worked out. Mo, good friend of GI, has you covered with all the latest in golf. Check out his recent episode for Masters 2022 coverage. Also this week, Hidden Gems Hip Hop is back. Tyler, take us away.
And then the last one, which we had set up for you to read, but I guess I will. Here we go.
I got it.
Are you excited?
I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay. I'm excited for this. I'm going to pass it off to you because this is how it needs to be done.
Yeah, I'm sure Des really wants me to do this. Okay.
Yes, he does.
Excited for the NBA playoffs to start? Desmond Powell is releasing a new episode of Hip to the Games. I don't even know if that's plural. I can't remember. This week, that will spotlight Jesus. I'm killing this. Poor Desmond.
We love Desmond.
This is what I'm saying, man. This is why you need to read. I can't say hip to the game. I can't It's getting whiter as I say it. That will spotlight all the headlines as we approach the play-in tournament. Never
Amazing.
again. Never again.
We love 19 Media. That was us fully embracing the mess and giving some shine to some people who deserve it.
Yes.
We love all those individuals.
I held a pair of gray and white, absolute god tier New Balance dad shoes today. Like screams white suburbia, charcoal grill, probably an electric grill if we're being honest. It just screams it. And
you sent me the photo. Yeah, I agree.
As a joke. And after that, I believe I deserve to wear those for the rest of my life. That's how I feel about how that went. Good God. Okay.
Give us updates.
Thanks. I'm so glad that you support me in this endeavor. It's important work. Okay.
It might be the New Balance time for you, my friend. You know, it happens.
Yeah, get some jorts. Okay.
Yes. Costco. Kirkland. Kirkland signature.
Kirkland signature.
$15.
Some great value Sam's Choice jorts.
Yes.
All right.
And then you can get a slice of pizza at the Costco restaurant as well. This
is an absolute shoot. So I bought a pair of Express jeans today. Clearance Rack City had $5 off. Ended up being like $16 after tax. Great deal.
Let's go.
Great pair of jeans.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go to the Levi outlet because I know they usually have like 50%. I'll just get some Levi's, whatever. I'm old.
Sure.
But I was this close from going into the Lee/Wrangler store. I know. Hold on.
I think that's the Brett Favre influence on you,
yes,
my friend. Is coming out.
Well, listen, man. I'm working. You know what I've been working on in the backyard? A lawn. You know what I've been getting mad about? A lawn. It might be time to just say I'm now a lawn guy, and I got to go get some yeehaws. Like I don't know what else to do there. Like I feel like I need to own a Jeep, have some sort of tractor. I can't call my boots anymore. They have to be called shit kickers from here on out. I just all of it. I feel like I just need to embrace all of it. Get some straw behind my ear and start spitting into a spittoon. It's unbelievable.
I think you should control your narrative.
So shave my head and just have a pony, kind of where. Right where
that is a choice from the artist formerly known as Braun Strowman.
Okay, we're not moving on past this. Let's talk about this. Okay.
That is a choice. We got Braun and Moxley's wedding attire. What a week for pro wrestling wedding attire, man. Can you believe that?
I'm gonna go like this. We have a great color scheme here. Let me get rid of the logo here real quick. I love our color scheme. We have the white, we have the teal, we have the pink. Braun could have accented with some pink. What did he choose? All pink. How did he choose it? A t-shirt and Crocs. And people were giving Jon Moxley shit for his dress, which he then later put on a dress shirt, or maybe he had that on first at this wedding, but people were shitting on Mox, and it's like, what did Mox do? Mox didn't do anything. Braun showed up in Crocs, bro.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, and the hair, the Crocs plus the hairstyle he's rocking. Of course, I'm an expert on hairstyles. It was just so. I just don't know what he's going for. Like I feel like I'm missing.
You could do it. You could do it if you grow it out in the back and just put that rat tail.
I don't want
there.
to, man. I don't want to. That.
But yeah, you don't want to look like that.
I think as you know, the goal is not to be single forever. I just want to collect my damn toys, but then have a wife, meet a woman who will agree to be my wife, who will embrace this and embrace me. But no, man, that hair is just. I feel like I'm just missing something. Like there's an inside joke, or there's just something that I'm not getting, because he's not a bad looking dude.
No,
the hair is just. It's a choice. Like you have to take time to do whatever he's done.
Feels like more of a full outside joke. We're all a part of it. It's just not really funny. It's just hard to look at.
Yeah, and like you would imagine Raquel Gonzalez, now Raquel Rodriguez, who debuted on SmackDown, you would imagine that she's got to be so tempted to just like shave that off when he's sleeping, no?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
That dynamic never made sense to me, so whatever.
It's an interesting.
I don't know either of them personally. I don't know anybody personally that's working. So maybe they're very much compatible. They seem like they're happy. It seems like the hair doesn't bother anybody other than us. So I guess
he loves it, more power to him.
If you want to keep that sad little dome rope going, do what you got to do there, Braun. That's an Adam choice. And actually, you know what it made me think of? Kane, like 2005-ish, I want to say. When he
when the
like
mask came off, right?
Yeah, he had like the chunks shaved out of his hair.
Yeah.
Like having to commit
Also
to
a
that.
choice.
Yeah.
And I get, because that was sort of, he's playing a monster character who's really going through something.
Yeah.
For Braun, it's like, man, just, we've already said all the words we need to, I suppose.
Agreed. Question 2. Okay, this week we had FTR versus the Bucks. We had Yuta versus Mox. We had 2 of the best matches in AEW history on cable. And that lucky Boston crowd got to see them both in one night. That being said, Yuta painted BCC on his chest and was told, now the real work begins by Mox. What is the real work for Wheeler Yuta? So as we know, he is the ROH Pure Champion. Great touch by the commentary team by explaining what pure rules are. When Mox brought up, this isn't pure rules, this is a fight, and went out there. Great promo by Mox to start. My God.
Yeah, I need that hoodie, by the way.
Yes, amazing. And he's going to defend that title at some point. I don't know when. I don't know if they have that booked already. Mm-hmm. But how do you book Wheeler Yuta in AEW going forward?
Yeah, it's got to be twofold. One, I would imagine we'll get some trios matches in the near future. And again, that kind of begs the question, well, which trio do they fight? Because you already have Jericho Appreciation versus Kingston LAX. I think Blackpool will stay separate. And those 3 guys got to be in a 6-man soon. After that...
Well, they're clearly setting up the feud between best friends because we've had Trent.
Yes,
Trent
absolutely.
fought Danielson.
That's the way.
He's been pushing Yuta. That match hasn't happened.
That's the way to go. I would even argue amongst a really, really crowded, talented roster, I would argue that could even be a potential double or nothing match in some fashion. I think the best friends deserve a pay-per-view match. I don't know the last time they've been on a pay-per-view. Orange Cassidy is perpetually over, as we know. And you're not going to have an AEW pay-per-view without Mox and Danielson. And I would argue it seems like Wheeler Yuta is becoming that level as well, where he's got to be on the pay-per-views now in some form or fashion too.
Yeah.
I would imagine we'll see him defend the Pure title on AEW TV. That would not shock me whatsoever. I think he could really sort of be that open challenge guy where, if we're not going to have open challenges for the TNT belt like we used to, I could easily see Wheeler sort of sliding into that spot and taking on all comers and just being the badass that we see him to be. But I love your booking of them versus best friends. That's clearly where this is going. And that's going to be so interesting because I guess it's just going to be a babyface versus babyface matchup. Even though Danielson is still in kayfabe a heel, Mox is shades of gray as we know, if not leaning babyface, and Wheeler Yuta is a babyface. And William Regal is an uber babyface. I don't think the best friends are turning heel, unless I'm wrong, Brad. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't think you can turn Orange Cassidy. How do you do it?
Right.
I can see Chuck and Trent doing it, but I don't think they will. But the thing is with Orange Cassidy and the best friends, they've always been a heel faction. They're over as baby faces. They do heel shit all the time. Especially Orange Cassidy. He got involved in a match where he helped him cheat to win one time. And I was like, they just did heel stuff and the crowd's cheering. So I don't know that they have to label anything. I think
exactly.
It's kind of like, what was it? Oh God, that segment this week, this Ty Conti, Sammy Guevara stuff, just shoot me in the face. I don't want to see this.
That's not.
And I think they get it now that everybody hates it. So lean into it. But
for sure.
But you're pairing them with Dan Lambert. And it's like,
it's not for me.
Lambert is a heel. If you're trying to turn Scorpio and Ethan, fine, but you're not.
And Scorpio is the continued afterthought of this. The takeaway, I know we're kind of branching off to them,
champion.
But the takeaway is always what ridiculous thing did Dan Lambert say, and then how ridiculous are the characters of Sammy and Ty right now as babyfaces. Meanwhile, the TNT champ is standing in the ring, and we want a meaningful Scorpio reign.
Yeah. Right now, we haven't gotten.
No, not at all.
Very disappointing. Yeah,
very disappointing. Maybe, Brad, the answer to your question is Double or Nothing, Blackpool Combat Club versus Men of the Year, and Dan Lambert.
I like it. Second follow up question, I guess here before we move on. Does Yuta change his gear?
He probably should. Yeah, he definitely should.
Does not fit the combat.
No, the multicolor rainbow. It's different, but I think that's a very astute question by you. I would imagine we're gonna get some gear change soon.
The black tights with the Kenny Omega like stripes or the FTR logo stripes and white shoes probably doesn't fit.
And Yuta on the ass.
Yes, with Yuta on the ass. I don't know that. Brian plain trunks Danielson and John I wear combat pants and combat boots Moxley is really fitting.
Love Mox.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit with what they're going for in there. But Yuta, after the showing between both of those guys, absolutely deserves that spot.
Oh yes.
Oh my God, he's good.
Who do you? This is not my question 3, but I'll ask it as a bonus, I guess. Question 2: who do you think, if at all, would be the next member of the Blackpool Combat Club? Lee Moriarty, Serena Deeb, other?
It's a great question.
Or is it too soon? We're just gonna ride with Yuta for.
I think that needs to happen. I hope it's a woman. I hope it's like Shafir makes total sense. Actual Combat Club. That's not currently.
She's got a big match coming up.
Yep. Jamie Hayter would be perfect. I want Jamie Hayter in the Combat Club.
Yeah.
I mean, she's from England. It's called the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah.
You might as well
makes too much sense, right?
it. So yeah, I think she's English, right? She's not Australian. I think she's English.
I believe she's English. Yeah, I believe so.
Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter.
That's something that's going to happen.
Sweet Jesus. Yeah, I hope it's when Jamie Hayter breaks up with Britt here. Maybe she feels like she's not being used, and Regal approaches her, and that's it. And then we end up with Hayter in there. I would love to see that. I don't know that Jamie needs that rub, so there might be somebody else that I'm not thinking of, that I'm not considering. Somebody that right now isn't really doing anything, which I would love to see end up in there. Doesn't really fit her character, but I would love it, would be Ruby. Like, give her something to do, put her in a spot. Thunder Rosa makes perfect sense in there, but right now she doesn't need it. She should be a solo star.
Of course.
Otherwise, women's wrestlers that are currently on the roster, I don't know. Who do you put in there? Like, nobody else really fits. Hayter fits. Who's an ass kicker? Like Hayter, Toni Storm, Thunder Rosa, maybe Sheeta.
Yeah.
Serena Deeb.
I think Jamie Hayter's the answer.
Jamie Hayter has to be the answer, right?
Has to be. I would love. I don't want. We've spoken about this on a previous episode. I don't want the Blackpool Combat Club to be too huge, but man, I would really geek out if Lee was added to this group.
Yeah,
I think that would be perfect. That would be huge for him. Just like
I think so too.
Hayter.
What do you do then with Brock? I think that's why they're freezing in time right now, because that's a weird combo and it works. Like, I like watching their matches.
Well, Lee Johnson. I'm thinking Lee Moriarty.
Oh, I was thinking Moriarty.
No, but Shadi.
No, you said that. You said that.
Yeah, he's great. He's great too. I would not hate that. I think we need Lee Moriarty.
I did this before too, I think.
For Blackpool.
I screwed up the
Imagine
Lees.
how
too many Lees. We got Keith in there too somewhere.
Imagine how great Moriarty would be. I'm super excited about the development of this group.
Yeah. Okay, so that's why I'm confused. Why don't I see Lee Moriarty more often? I guess that's the real question. Is because I just see Brock and Lee Johnson on Dark, and I hear Lee and I just assume they're all the same. We get the captain this week, by the way. MJF and the captain.
We do. The official kryptonite for the Pinnacle.
We have
the captain, Sean Dean.
Sean Dean might be close to the top of the rankings right now because of the wins he has. You know he's stealing another one because Wardlow's going to get involved.
You think so?
Okay, so this is my prediction for this. You ready? I was thinking about this yesterday. So Captain Sean Dean's getting his ass whooped by MJF. Wardlow comes out. They're ready for him this time. The Pinnacle jumps Wardlow. Wardlow starts getting beat to hell. It's not the same because they need to change it up. And MJF is like, yeah, you're getting beat to hell. Sean rolls him up. Small package. 1, 2, 3, it's over. MJF loses again. Wardlow does it again, even though he gets his ass kicked. I feel like that's the way to do it.
Wow.
That way you keep this Sean Dean win streak over the Pinnacle going. You knock MJF out of the title picture for now, which is something you need to do because otherwise you can't.
That's true.
You can't justify it otherwise.
That's true.
I think it's perfect. I think that's the best way to do that.
I wasn't ready to predict that. I thought I'm still leaning MJF, but what you're saying makes a lot of sense for all of the reasons.
Storytelling wise,
particularly for MJF and the rankings. I would not hate that whatsoever.
My God. All right, tonight I'm gonna make a chart for all my Lees. Try to get my 3 Lees straight. I don't think I'm gonna screw
Limitless
up
Keith Lee. Yeah, there's some Lees around.
Yeah, and then
We
there's
love all of them.
And then there's currently unsigned, I believe, Kimber Lee. Okay, so we are at the point of the show here where normally I'd have someday when you have kids, but not today, man, not today. Today I have I think the inaugural version of Back in the Day.
And now it's time to get old school. Prepare yourselves for Back in the Day.
Okay, so I was listening to Grillin' JR, and it made me finally go out and find this match. I've heard about this match for a while. It's Wrestling Legend. It is from 1990 from the Tokyo Dome. It was the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. That's right. Vader versus Stan Hansen. All Japan Stan Hansen. You know this match? Do you know the lore around this match?
I do not. You got to fill me in. I'm jealous. I think I told you Vader. I was scared shitless of Vader as a kid. Loved him on Boy Meets World. Was completely scared of him. I'm all ears.
If you don't like F-bombs, fast forward a couple of minutes. Bro, Stan Hansen, Vader, New Japan, Tokyo Dome, 1990. Absolute hoss fight. Absolute hoss fight. Good, sweet Lord. This is a legendary match because of something that happens about 5 minutes in. It's about a 15-minute match.
Okay.
All told, it's probably less than that. It's probably like 13 minutes. About 5 minutes in, something happens. I'll get to it. So we start. These guys are just landing haymakers on each other. Elbows and short arm clotheslines that are just like bludgeoning each other. Staggering. People aren't falling. They're just getting staggered. You see them, and it's like they might have just broken all of their ribs. I don't really know. I can't really tell. It's so hard to tell because we know Vader laid it in. He didn't like, yeah, I'm just going to punch you in the face. That's how I throw punches.
Yeah, Snug City.
This is one of the snuggest matches I've ever seen outside of an actual shoot. So then we get the rest holds. They stop. Vader gets down. Great Fujiwara armbar. And then Hansen's got to get out of it. He's going like this to try to get him off. Vader gets up, takes off his mask. The crowd is like, holy shit, what's going on? They're all popping. Everybody's screaming. Why? His eye got popped out. His fucking eye was hanging out of his head. And what did Vader do? Pushes it back into his skull, closes his eye, and wrestles for 10 more minutes. Bro!
I just Googled this, and that was the first thing that popped up.
He put his eye
the pictures are
back into his head and wrestled for 10 more minutes. So what happens? They're fighting, Hawk's fighting. He gets thrown out. They both go out. They're fighting outside. It ends up over the barricade into the crowd. They eventually get back in. Lots of punching, lots of kicking. And while they're in, it's just so snug. Everything is super snug, right? They get in. One-eyed Vader, still hossing. elbow drops. Danhausen's dropping elbows. Vader's short arm elbow dropping people. It's just crazy. His eye is all jacked up. Vader gets him on the ground. He's on the mat. Hansen goes over him and starts stomping a mud hole into him and kicking him in the eye. His popped out eye. He's a heel. Absolute terrible person. Stomping on his head, stomping on his popped out eye. What does Vader do with his jank eye that he just pushed back into his skull as he gets up 400 pounds and gives him a drop kick? Vader just jumps into the stratosphere like a
gravity
like
just ceased to
just
exist.
an absolute gravity defying lead blimp kicks this man in the face across the ring. What happens? They end up back outside. The match devolves. They're just beating the piss out of each other until the ref's like, it's over. We're calling it. At the time, Vader was the IWGP champ. Hansen was challenging as an All Japan talent. He ends up in the ring, fists up, gets mostly booed by the crowd. Vader gets in there. Everybody's cheering while he's going like this because his eye is all effed. Like, dude, I cannot stress to you enough. This match is not a 5-star match. I don't even know if this match is a 4-star match. It's probably less than 4 stars because the ending was stupid. Stupid booking. The double count out, stupid. Not for a title match, but bro. Wow, was this match snug? This match had stakes. This match had eyes popping out of skulls. This match had Vader taking his mask off for the first time when he was wearing a mask in front of people. And everybody was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And then what does he do? This little tappy, a little pushy, and puts his eye back into his face.
Yeah. Pulled a Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black. Do you remember that?
Only a
that
shoot.
Whole, let me stomp your eye out in the...
Only an absolute shoot.
Only an absolute shoot, exactly.
Whew, I'm out of breath.
Man, even with these pictures I'm seeing on Google.
Don't
yeah,
image search that.
I think I'm good. Those pictures confirm your story here.
The pictures are so much worse than the match. The match is you can get it, you can stream it everywhere. You won't even know what happened. And the quality is so grainy. It's 90. It's probably somebody's like handy cam out in the audience. So it's not the best footage in the world. But if you watch it, it's you can't see the eye. You just see him go like this, like that, and mess around with his eye, and you know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of the match, he's like this, all swollen, one eye Willie out there. Just absolute pirate, dread pirate Vader. Totally crazy. And then I listened to JR call his WCW debut, which sounded really rad. I've never seen it, so I want to go back and watch that with the steam coming out of the giant mask, the samurai mask. But really, really cool.
Yeah, amazing. I think that was a great debut of back in the day, Brad. I'm so excited to see where we take this. And somehow it is already time for question 3.
And swearing.
Yes.
Danhausen.
Yes, lots of it.
Danhausen disapproves.
Question 3, my friend. I've been waiting a long time to ask you this one. This is also a question I thought of earlier in the weekend. I just held on to it. TBS champion Jade Cargill is a favorite of Gimmick Infringement. Mm-hmm. And she has introduced the baddie section at AEW events, where she, I think really through Twitter, finds fans, particularly women, and they get tickets. They are her baddie section. I think kind of speaks for itself. Shout out to Dr. Tanisha Singleton of 19 Media Group. I think a future baddie section member next time they're in Nevada. We love her here. So my question for you, Brad, is I want you to picture that you are in the main event of WrestleMania. I would imagine you probably dreamt of this, much like I have as a child. You're in the main event title match of WrestleMania, or in this case, even let's say All In. You go over, you win the title for the first time in your career. Who is in your baddie section? And unlike Jade, this does not, and probably should not, be exclusive to just all women. I'm just talking about who is in your row to celebrate your championship victory, with the caveat of 3 people are excluded from this. I am excluded. I hope I would be on your baddie list. I'm excluded. Jess is excluded, and the wonderful, wonderful Freya Winchester, your daughter, is excluded. But who are let's say the 4 baddies that would have to be in your row to celebrate your victory. I hope you've dreamt of this like I did when I was a kid.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call them baddies. I wouldn't call.
Yeah,
them
I was gonna. We got to work on the terminology.
My parents, I would never call baddies, but I would probably be my mom and dad. After that, if I had 3 people.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna boot out parents. I'm just gonna say parents aren't allowed.
Okay, that's kind of boring. Yeah.
Aren't allowed. My buddy Chris Van Dries, big wrestling fan. Let's see, Travis Raminger, who he and I came through the Attitude Era with, my buddy Travis. After that, who would I want there? That's not my wife. Well, I'm not including any women because I'm not stupid. Trying to think of who the last person would be. Yeah. Man, I don't know. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
Let's see. Danhausen. Just because I think it would be really funny.
Perfect.
Because it wouldn't make any sense. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. But let's get it done. I think you should apply to the Nightmare Factory. You know Freya's going to apply in about 14 years, but what if her dad graduated from the school before her?
I think I'm hitting my peak. I turned 40 in like a month. So really young, really ready.
Let's go. That DDP route.
Physically fit. I have no autoimmune problems of any kind to speak of. I don't have arthritis. My eyes are fine. Yeah, I think it'll be good.
I see no issue with this.
Yes.
Let's go. You know you have a supporter here.
Speaking of supporters, who are yours?
Oh, man, that's really tough. I wasn't ready for you to flip it back on me, but I should have been. Yeah, well, excluding the parents, excluding you as my partner here, man, I feel like I got to choose Carlos, my close friend and fellow wrestling junkie from Tucson. After that, like you, who is wrestling also special to in my life? I'm going to say it. Let's go with Mike Steph on a recent episode of GI. And if I had to pick a third, this feels like a total sausage fest. And as a single man, I don't have the same restrictions you do on this one.
Says a lot of why, I think.
Yeah. Indeed.
What are you surrounded by? If you're living in the meat market, like
yeah, exactly. I guess for now my answer would be, this is tough because there are 2 gentlemen who have been guests of GI who I think deserve to be included in this conversation are either Alan Ramich or Ben Anderson, because they are fellow wrestling junkies, and I think they would want to celebrate my epic WrestleMania main event win. Let's go with that. Ideally, the future wife slides in there, but that's I think time will help dictate that.
I think Ben would really like it. I think Alan would just be happy to be at WrestleMania.
Alan would be there just for the press credentials.
Alan would absolutely be trying to figure out where to get the autographs.
Yes, 100%.
While he's gonna miss your match because he's gonna be like getting closer to the tunnel, sneaking there past security. Yeah,
he'd probably be wearing Laker merchandise as well.
Absolutely, yes.
That's so sad for him and half of 19 media who are Lakers fans. That's got to be a tough existence these days, man.
I may or may not have taken a shot at them today in the chat. Shout out to everybody that got back to us, by the way.
What was the chat before we move on to your third question? It was something quicker than the Lakers.
Oh yeah,
you're going to give them less time than the
last week when I asked for people to give us state of 19 because we hadn't had a lot of updates from 19 Media. I asked if there's anything we can add. You have 5 minutes before we record. This time I said you have about 3 hours. And shout out to Mojo, who said just make sure you get in. Or just say that Hidden Gems Hip Hop is coming back this week. Shout out to Hidden Gems Golf and Hip Hop. And I said I'm going to use some of the stuff you said in your tweet. Otherwise, the read's going to go faster than the demise of the Lakers' playoff hopes. Something to that effect.
Yeah, it was perfect. Just let them know.
Yeah. Somebody will read that later and get really pissed off.
Yes, I'm sure.
They probably never listened to the pod. That's fine.
It's okay. They'll never hear this, but we still love them.
Yes. This conversation was absolutely a one-way conversation. All right, let's hit question number 3. Final question.
I'm ready.
We're rocking and rolling through this thing. Hook. Hook hasn't been seen much outside of the Danhausen segments. He's obviously still in and will likely always be in as long as it exists, a part of Team Taz. CM Punk has also not been on TV as often, which is probably a good thing, right? It's less exposure. Let's not get sick of him. He can't be in every show all the time. His brand can take not being on TV all the time. Does Hook only ending up in comedy spots recently that don't involve him actually killing people on screen? Does that diminish his spectacle in any way?
Fantastic closing question, my guy. I don't think it diminishes him. I think with the caveat of if this were to continue into the summer, then I think I would have a different answer for you. Currently, no. I tend to actually enjoy the interactions between him and Danhausen. Danhausen started eating the chips in the trash can and said, is this where he gets his power from? I tend to enjoy that. I think if this were to continue, like I said, into the summer, my answer would be yes, this is diminishing his that aura that he started developing. Currently, though, I think clearly he's going to remain undefeated. Hook, that is. Yeah. But it really, to me, seems like his big first feud is with Ricky Starks for the FTW belt, and Ricky is completely preoccupied right now. Speaking of this coming week's Dynamite, not only do we get Minoru Suzuki versus Samoa Joe, which should be absolutely bonkers, but we also get a sneakily great match in Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks versus Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee, which I think is going to hump. So what does Hook do from now until presumably him and Ricky fight again? Going back to my traditional way of thinking of babyface versus heel, I don't know how that's going to be played with Hook versus Ricky, but to me that is the signature feud for him.
Who goes?
I am worried he's just going to be a comedy guy. If that continues, Brad, into let's say past Double or Nothing, then I think the star power is really the aura, the killer of Hook is going to be in jeopardy because I don't want him to just be a comedy guy forever.
Who goes into that match as a babyface, Hook or Ricky Starks?
Right. Yeah. That I thought about this earlier, actually, on my way to pick up a sandwich. In preparation for you potentially asking, I'm really yearning for Ricky to be a babyface because I think he would be so good.
Agreed.
And it's funny because Hook is being presented as a heel right now. I would argue, but he's just so over that I think Hook has to be the babyface. And Ricky has to be the heel. Yeah. How about you? Do you see it flip-flopped?
Against Hook, I don't care which one, but I want Ricky to be a babyface.
Me too.
I think he's a better heel, though. I think he would be great as a babyface, but right now he's working heel and it's good. He's not MJF, but it's he's one of those guys that could probably go either way. Hook.
Exactly. And he's going to get a huge reaction in his hometown of New Orleans this Wednesday. Ricky, that is, right? Well, huge babyface.
I saw Hook has an indie event coming up, and I think it's his first one. Oh, I saw it. Somebody tweeted that. I can't remember who it was, but it's his first indie event.
I think we need some press credentials from 19.
Absolutely.
Warren, Jabari, Mo. Come on, guys. Let's go.
I think you can't control what Hook does. You can't control how people feel about him. He can continue doing this. He comes out of the heel tunnel. He does heel stuff. Even when the crowd is cheering for him, he looks at them, but he doesn't acknowledge them.
Right.
So I absolutely love it because it's not like, oh, I'm a bad guy, I'm not going to acknowledge you. It's I'm way too cool for this shit.
Yes.
Doesn't matter if you acknowledge me or not. I'm not Roman Reigns. I don't need you. I love that about Hook. I love that about Hook. He doesn't need the acknowledgement. He's just out there to kill people.
He really is his own character. There's no one else like him. Not even only in AEW, but I would argue in any other company.
I don't know. There's no one like seen anything like that.
It's a very unique presentation. Yeah.
Well, it's not like Ric Flair becoming the Nature Boy when Buddy Rogers was the Nature Boy.
Right.
There hasn't been a Hook before. There's been killers. There's been unbeatable people, but not like this. This is different. I've never seen anything like this. This is awesome. I love everything about this.
Me too. Yeah, and to your point, Brad, even though maybe you and I worry how much the comedy segments are going to last, they have Hook just sitting there waiting to be heated up, right? You have a potential megastar just sitting in the wings. You have current megastars, like you said, CM Punk and other individuals who we know are going to get those main matches now. But you have Hook, this 20-something-year-old dude who just has all the potential in the world and is going to be a face of your company moving forward. You have the 4 pillars, then you have all of these other men and women who are just right there, and I think are going to be right on par with the Darbys and Sammys and MJFs and Jungle Boys of the world.
Yeah, man,
it's exciting.
AEW so much.
They're gonna be fine when the Punks and Danielsons and when they hang up the boots, man. AEW is gonna be just fine.
It's the thing that I don't think the WWE does enough of. They have a lot of young talent that's over on the roster, kind of younger, I should say, but nobody's really young. Everybody's sort of here, and you have the older guys that are here. And outside of the women, there's not a lot of young men that are in the company right now. They still have years into them, but I don't know what the average age is besides like Austin Theory. I'm thinking like mid-30s to late 30s. Even Finn Balor, it's crazy, but Finn Balor is like 46.
Yeah, he's on that Pharrell, I guess, skincare routine. Just total vampire.
Yes.
The dude looks like he could have just graduated college like 2 or 3 years ago.
And then he had a picture with his parents who are
appropriately
aged.
Man.
Finn Balor's amazing, but
Finn Balor just seems like a great human being. He liked one of my tweets years ago when I was wearing the shirt and tagged him. Like, we don't show enough love to Finn.
Yeah,
he seems like a great dude.
Yes,
not to mention he's one of the best wrestlers in the world as well.
Yeah, and the roster's loaded with that. I'm afraid that Shinsuke is going to get too old, and Finn's going to get too old, and Ricochet is going to get too old. They've been wrestling.
Ricochet's he's in his 30s now.
So is Mustafa Ali, and has a family, and it's not to say any of these guys are out of shape, but like, trust me,
far from it. Yeah,
like for Tyler here, who's not yet in his 30s.
I'm getting close, man.
The wheels,
it's getting real close.
The wheels don't come off by any means, but they start getting a little squeaky. So knowing that and just seeing look at like the Hardys, probably should have retired. Matt should have retired, but he can still do in-ring work. It's not terrible. I could have said the same thing about Jericho, who's in his 50s.
I get kind of worried about Matt and Jeff. Like, some of those spots are in the tables match this week. It's like, it's amazing, but I don't know that I need to see this because I don't want you guys to get seriously injured.
Well, this week, prayers up for Otani, who got hurt this weekend in a match. For those of you that don't know, the Japanese wrestler took a bump into, I think it was a buckle bomb, and his neck hit the turnbuckle in an awkward way, and he can't move any of his extremities as of today. And this dude has had matches in WCW. He was the cruiserweight champ at one point, and briefly. But to know that he was wrestling in WCW when it was open, and he's still wrestling now, at the tail end of your career, do you really want to put your whole life in jeopardy, where now your entire life is altered? When you made it through everything else, you don't really have anything left to prove. That being said, that could have happened to anybody at any time. Look what happened to Big E, and it could have been a lot worse. So it doesn't really matter, I guess, but when you're in your 30s, you're in your prime. When you're in your 40s, you are not in your prime. It doesn't mean you can't go. But there's a lot of guys in their 40s in there. AJ Styles, Edge, Brock. There's just a lot of dudes that are not young that are going to end up leaving soon, I would assume.
Right.
We have Bill Goldberg, who's in his 50s, probably pushing 60. Stone Cold Steve Austin just had a match, and we saw how fast he was running. So it's just like, what do you do? You don't have Wheeler Yuta. You don't have.
You could have had him.
You could have had him. Yeah.
You could have had him in NXT.
Yeah. But you don't have him. You don't have Hook. You don't have Top Flight. You don't have either of those guys.
Yeah,
you don't have.
Super young.
There's just Daniel Garcia. There's just so many young, talented
Daniel
people.
Garcia, future megastar.
Yes.
By all accounts.
Yes, and that's not to say that the AEW is old. Don't get me wrong. You got Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, on the end of his career. He said he's got like 3 years left. And then you have CM Punk, an older CM Punk. You have the Hardys. You have Jericho. You have freaking 60-year-old Sting. You have a lot of older talent on the roster. But you're bringing all these new young people with, rather than also these young people exist. Like, what are they doing with NXT at all if not bringing everybody up? But some of the NXT talent gets brought up when they're in their 30s. So again, it's like, cool. You can get, like, if you're lucky, you get 10 years, maybe 5 for some of these guys. They're one injury away from never doing it again, not because of a bad injury, but because of age. So I don't know that they're taking care of the future as well as they should be.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think that's great. The only thing I'll add is kind of touching on what you said, Brad, about we really enjoyed WrestleMania last week, and I think it really gave the WWE a lot of juice. It just, I think, really reinvigorated a lot of the fan base. I know it did for you and I.
So did Wheeler Yuta. Gave us a lot of juice.
I was going to say, I thought, I knew you were going to go there. Yeah. Nicely done. It reinvigorated at least us and friends we have who follow WWE. I do think it's interesting if you look at WrestleMania, exactly what you said about the talents that were featured. And if you just look at the ages of those talents in terms of young, I guess we're looking particularly at the men here, the younger male talent, it was Austin Theory who lost, but you can still go over in a loss, but it was Austin Theory. And then I don't have the card up in front of me, but who else was in that 20-year-old, 20 to 29-year-old pool? Was there anyone? Right, Pete Dunne. I believe Pete Dunne is around there, maybe in his 30s. I don't know about Ridge Holland. Everyone else, right? Brock and Roman, we know, as you said. Shinsuke, Boogs,
Pete Dunne
Chad Gable, Otis.
Pete Dunne is 28 years old.
Okay, there we go. That's something.
We have Braun.
But like you said, you compare that to the Hooks and Dante Martins, and and those guys are 25 and younger, right?
Right.
So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. Yeah, Austin Theory has to be it. And that dude's going to be a mega star. He's already getting a huge spotlight.
Made for WWE, made for them.
Yeah, he's absolutely perfect for that brand.
Like out of a laboratory, right?
Yes. Great look, great character work, great in ring work.
Yeah.
We put up that poll. We put up that poll for best stunner cells of all time, and I don't know that he wouldn't have won it. I mean,
that was awesome.
That
was like Mortal Kombat-esque.
Yes, he was absolutely like Liu Kanging it through the air. Yeah.
That was awesome. Good for
him. Incredible. Yeah, absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Well, Brad, we've reached the conclusion of GI. This is the portion of the episode every week where we have some final news and notes and usually try to focus on non-AEW talk here. I think we were very extensive with our AEW. We even got to Tony Khan versus the Bots. We got to Willow Nightingale. But I would be remiss if I didn't ask you some WWE questions just to close out the episode. In terms of some notes, we saw that Nash Carter, one half of MSK, was released. I don't think we're going to dive fully into that, but it will be interesting to see what they do with the NXT tag belts. I know you will not be watching, and I probably will not be watching, but I'll be interested to see via Twitter what takes place this week with those belts. Maybe a tournament, maybe just a straight match for the titles. Who knows? I hope, Wesley, his partner, I hope Wesley gets some sort of prominent spot because I think that dude rules. Brad, we saw the debut of Ezekiel. Definitely not Elias. This is Elias's younger brother, Ezekiel. And, of course, I'd love to know your thoughts on that if you have them. But what I really want to know about is your reaction to Cody Rhodes' first Raw promo. To pull back the curtain, this is the only thing I saw from Raw as I'm slowly, I guess, trying to get back into watching more WWE Weekly. But I saw the promo, Brad. I know that wrestling has more than one royal family. And I want to know your thoughts because it got a really polarizing reaction on Twitter. Some people loved it. Some people loathed it, quite literally. What say you about Cody Rhodes' promo, and then any Ezekiel thoughts, and of course any notes you may have from the week in WWE?
So I saw somebody tweet this, and it got me thinking about the way that they watch WWE, and I didn't want to end up being this person. So even though I think they're great, I'm not going to name their name, but I'm pretty sure you'll figure it out here. It was complaints about WWE. It was complaints about booking specifically, and it was great. They're going to have this person lose to this guy. Blah, 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 something like that. And I was like, if it would have gone the other way and it was like cool. They win this guy won and buried the other guy. Typical booking. And it got me thinking, like, whatever happened in that match was going to piss this person off, and they were going to rant about it for about 2 hours. I'll leave that there. And I thought, man, I don't want to be this guy with WWE. I don't want to think about it that hard. I just want to enjoy it. Try to watch it with my mind off, because I think that's how they plan these things, with their minds off. And I watched Cody Rhodes' promo, and I thought it's the most authentic thing. First of all, I thought it was hilarious that they screwed up his entrance.
Yeah, with the, like, right, he's...
Oh, forget that part. They effed up the pyro.
Oh, did they really? I missed that.
So,
the only thing in my brain was him being at the very lower third of the...
First of all, the
screen.
Absolutely
terrible shot.
Terrible
meme worthy.
Shot. Yes,
completely
terrible shot.
Worthy.
Yes, so many people use that. So many people.
It was so
that.
evident. That's how you start the show. Like, come on, give the American Nightmare better.
Number one, I thought it's great that Suit Cody exists in both worlds. Number two,
thank you. Yes,
that was my first thought. Was he's wearing a suit? That's awesome.
Love that. The music, the colors. Thank you.
Yes, everything about it has been great so far. Love that Cody. They're doing in there. So really happy for Cody. He walked out at Mania. It looked like when he went like this, and the fireworks was going off behind him, it looked like he did it a little late. This time he stopped, and then he like looked behind him, and then he started going again, and then the fireworks went off, and then he just put his head down and laughed. You could see him like visibly like laugh, because he knows they effed it up. Either he did or they did or whatever. And then he went to the ring and he cut his promo. And then Seth came out and interrupted the end of it and shook his hand, which I thought was great, which either means interesting babyface heel tag team or Cody's a heel. I'm fine with either one. I like heel Cody better than babyface Cody. And
definitely not a shot of them running it back at Backlash like they're doing Ronda Charlotte. I Quit City.
I don't think so.
Okay.
WWE doesn't refer to history, so they'll just ignore that they've wrestled like 10 times before. So I'm sure we'll get it back. We're gonna call it running it back and not running it into the ground.
Yeah. The handshake was interesting though. I really like that.
So I love the storyline setup. The promo itself, I thought it was good. I don't have any problems with it. I thought it was a little much, to the point where I was like, I can't tell if he's getting emotional or if he's trying to play it up, the way he was being Cody Luther King. I don't really know if that's what was happening there, or...
I'm just saying, he brought an HBCU marching band to WrestleMania, Brad. When have we ever seen that before for Bianca's entrance? It's the same night as Cody being on. There's a correlation there.
Yeah.
There's a correlation.
And the tag champs winning and Bianca winning. Yes,
But Cody made his intentions clear, though, right? He said, "I am the son of the American dream.
Yeah,
I am here for one reason: to become champion, to fulfill that moment that my dad never got."
And yeah, very emotional. And he'd look at the picture, and I think it's all a shoot, because he says he can't go into the performance center. He still struggles going in there because that's where his dad last worked. Here's the thing. This is why I think it was really good. Because I thought the promo itself was good. Dude, I can't tell if it's real or not. And that's the highlight of a good program, is if I'm not sure what's real. I have to suspend my disbelief because I can't decide if I should. And man, he has me, because I'm curious to see what happens now. So from that perspective, I think that alone made it a really good promo. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was so jarring to see a Cody AEW like promo from the visual and then the actual words. To see that on Monday Night Raw was jarring, man. It took me a few minutes to really just like process that. But yeah, I agree with you. It was difficult to figure out how much of it was him performing versus his unique, authentic feelings. I will always give Cody the benefit of the doubt, as I am a huge fan, admittedly. So I really enjoyed it. Do I put it in like his top 3 or top 5 promos of the last 3 to 4 years? I don't. But for a first promo in WWE, I really enjoyed it, because I think clearly he is going to be a main event player. And the moment when he wins that championship, whether it's SummerSlam or next year's WrestleMania, whenever it's going to be, it's going to be a huge moment, man. I really think he's going to be booked as a babyface. That's maybe where we differ. I think this is going to be a total babyface run. And I think the audience will react as such because the story innately is so authentic, and because Dusty Rhodes was so beloved. I think this promo was a great start for what's going to be hopefully a main event babyface run that's going to lead to him having that moment of holding gold. I don't know if he beats Roman for it. I'm not ready to say that, but this is a good promo. Not great, but I did not think it was bad at all.
No, I'm with you. I think somewhere in the middle. I thought it was good.
Somewhere in the middle. Yeah,
I think he was trying to go for a home run. I think he got a double.
He always does, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it fails miserably. It's a strikeout.
I don't know what's missing there for me. There's something there that just didn't get me fully invested. The thing that got me the most invested was the handshake with Seth. That made me go, what are they going to do with that?
Yeah,
so,
agreed.
As long as something's happening there, I think I'm happy. Begs the question though, does Roman do the Kenny Omega thing and put one title on the line? That way he can lose to Cody, lose one of the belts, but still be Universal Champion and keep his run going. I feel like that's probably the way it goes, right?
I think so. Yeah, and I don't. Some of us, I think, probably booked Braun Breaker to be that first defeat for Roman, but it would appear that Braun Breaker is not going to be there quite yet.
Yeah.
In that spot, I absolutely think what you said is going to happen for sure.
Yeah.
Cody wins the belt, and perhaps he's the champion on Mondays, and Roman stays on Fridays. I could absolutely see that.
Yeah, because they said there's not going to keep it unified long term, so that makes a ton of sense to me.
It does.
But again, that's where I get worried about. Do they just then mid-card Cody again, and then that's where he ends up? So I'm trying.
Get me
not
nervous.
To be,
I hope not.
Yeah, I know he's in he's in a multi-year deal, so I hope they don't do that to him, but I can absolutely see it happening. Okay, so before we go, let's talk quickly. Nash Carter released not because of marital relations, which I don't know anything about it other than like it's his wife or ex-wife says one thing and then I don't know. But he got fired for a Hitler picture. Him dressed as Hitler, shaving a mustache. Not a good look, so bye. But I want to talk about Ezekiel. I'm sure you agree with me on the Nash Carter thing, but
yes, I do.
I'm not going to lie. That segment had me cracking up the whole time. I think Elias has great comedic timing. So to have him in there as a character, just going, I'm not Elias. I'm Ezekiel.
And with Kevin Owens.
With Kevin
perfect
Owens.
Person to be in there.
Absolutely perfect. The only other person I can see him doing that with is Sammy. Like those are the only two that make sense. Kevin was the perfect person in there with Ezekiel, who is jacked, by the way.
Yes. And now he's wearing the trunks instead of the jeans, right?
Yes.
The jean tights, yeah.
Yes, but he looks like an entirely different human being.
He really does.
Yeah.
The beard suited him well.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. He's to grow that thing back.
Yeah.
As soon as humanly possible. Even though I don't think it's bad, it just makes his head look so small compared to his traps. Like like it looks like it's like he had a body that was like a watermelon body and they put a grape on top.
Yeah.
With the beard, it filled it out a little bit better. Yeah.
That's an apt analogy. Yeah, I don't have a ton of thoughts, man. I just this was also a jarring moment for me. Speaking of seeing a Cody AEW like promo in a WWE ring, seeing the artist formerly known as Elias back. You and I have asked each other what happened to Elias. We've been in separate message conversations with others. Where is Elias? What happened to this dude? He was one of the most over people on the roster within the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. He's back now. I have no idea what becomes of Ezekiel. I think Ezekiel's clearly a heel, ? But I think this was the problem or the conundrum with Elias before, is what is his ceiling?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't recall Elias holding singles gold in WWE. I don't think he ever held the IC belt. We know he didn't hold the top prize. If Elias, as over as he was, didn't quite get there, I don't know about Ezekiel. Is he just sort of a mid-card comedy guy we forget about? by August? I hope not.
I mean, Elias disappeared because of Jackson Riker, dude.
That's the tragedy of it all.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do with Ezekiel because they didn't know what to do with Elias. Elias, what he was doing was the best thing that Elias could do, that character, and not those stupid music instrument matches, whatever, the Symphony of Destruction or whatever they called it.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's it.
It was doing the in-ring stuff, talking trash about a town, and then a super over babyface or a cameo from a Hall of Famer would happen. Like, I really wanted during WrestleMania for the lights to go out and then Elias be in the ring with his guitar and then start talking trash. And then, like, I don't know, somebody comes running out the back or just shows up. We got Edge one year. We got Undertaker would have made perfect sense to go up there and chokeslam him this year for the Hall of Fame. That would have been amazing. Or just Stone Cold. Like, that could have been good. I think they did the right thing having him interfere in the McAfee match, but man, I don't know. I don't know what you do with Ezekiel.
Yeah. I'm just worried that you get the pop that first night, Raw after Mania, but then we look back at this month, even a year from now, and what becomes of Ezekiel. To me, it doesn't really seem like there's a lot of staying power in this character beyond that first night or first month reaction to just the oddity of it all. But what do I know, man? I miss how over Elias was. I agree with you that perhaps it was time to do something different with that character.
Yeah.
You kind of ran it as much as you could. This Ezekiel thing, it has us talking, man. It's a talking point on Gimmick Infringement. So perhaps they're doing something right.
I hope they do vignettes. I hope they do video packages and do little things where he's talking to Elias.
Have to.
And maybe they already filmed it before he shaved so that they can start running stuff with that. I think that'd be great.
Good
yeah.
call.
So if they did something like that, I'm all in. I'm excited to see what happens, but I'm a little bit afraid it's going to be more of him coming out going, no, I'm his brother. Like, it's stupid.
Yeah,
so
I'm
we'll
worried
see.
about that as well.
We'll see, man.
Yeah, man, it should be good. I have a feeling we may be talking more WWE on our weekly episodes than usual. Wrestling is in such a healthy, intriguing place right now. I can't wait for this week, man.
Next week,
Joe versus Suzuki.
I was gonna say next week is gonna be the best, man. Ooh,
Jurassic versus Undisputed. I mean, come on now.
Yeah,
sign me up. I think there's a women's match on there that I'm super stoked for. That it's Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm. Is it not?
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Can Wednesday get here?
Yeah.
Imminently, please.
There's a lot of talk on the internet about that match, and it's all involving asses. And I'm here to say you need to stop, because I think what people are going to be talking about after that match is how hard these ladies are laying into each other. Just it's going to be a snug match. I anticipate broken blood vessels from the collarbones up, and it's going to be a sirloin match, I think, for sure. I can't wait for that match. I think that match is going to surprise a lot of people. I'm really looking forward to it.
I think so. Final question for you. Tony goes over?
Has to, yeah.
Has to.
They haven't built Jamie, but this would be a great excuse if Jamie loses to get frustrated with Britt and then end up a few weeks from now or a month from now or 2 months from now in Blackpool Combat Club. I think it would make a perfect transition out and in.
Well said. Speaking of perfect transitions.
I was going to say, I do want to say something. Next week.
Please,
I do have another back in the day that I want to do. I have two more that I know that I want to do. So next week, expect another back in the day. This time it will be, I'll just preview. Kenny Omega. That's right. Kenny Omega versus El Generico in DDT Wrestling.
Wow.
Yeah, can't wait.
If that doesn't hook viewers for next week, viewers and listeners, I don't know what will, Brad. I can't wait for that. Let's go. Episode 2 of Back in the Day. I'll be here.
All right, awesome.
I hope you all will be here as well. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. We hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. You know you can follow Brad at WinDuster. You can follow me at Tyler J. McDowell, gimmickinfringementpod.com. And then finally, you know you can follow the talented individuals of 19 Media Group at 19mediagroup.com and also at 19M Group on Twitter. Brad, this was a great one. I enjoyed it, and we'll do it again next weekend.
Yeah, this is a really good one. I'm going to go after this, take my contacts out, and make sure I take care of my eyes.
Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.